Coming up, the story of one of the most elegant and breathtaking #1 hits of the 70s from the last remaining member of a legendary rock and roll Hall of Fame group. Though this song was the first of several #1 hits for the group in the 70s after dominating the 60s, it would be the last song to be recorded by two key members of the band, including one of their lead singers. This coming just 2 years after losing another of their lead singers. It didn't matter though, because as this song proves, it was always about the core, not the individuals. The story of one of the most beloved songs ever is coming up on Professor of Rock. Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. You know, if you cherish the first cassette or vinyl, CD, 8-track that you bought with your own money, you're going to dig this channel. Make sure that you subscribe right now below so that you don't miss an episode. Nostalgia all the time. Hit that red button, check the bell so that you're always in the know about our latest videos and interviews. We do this every day. Also, check out our latest series on Patreon. You can go backstage with the legends at our new live shows that we've been doing. So I'm really excited to bring you another episode from our series, Revelations. Quite a few episodes from this series. Revelations, this is where featured artists reveal rare stories about their biggest songs, along with fascinating insight about their careers. You just won't find this anywhere else. They're the most successful R&B group of all time, one of the cornerstones of Motown, and today's featured song is a big reason. The Temptations with their 1971 #1 smash, Just My Imagination, Running Away With Me. Just my imagination. It's a song of pure bliss. Elegance defined. Written by Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong, released on the Gordy Motown label, and produced by the great Norman Whitfield. It came from the group's 1971 album, Sky's the Limit. It became the Temps' third #1 hit after My Girl. Talking about my girl. And Can't Get Next to You. I just can't get next to you, baby. I can't get next to you. Of course, they'd have more after that. Papa was a Rolling Stone. It notched the #1 position on the Billboard Hot 100 for 2 weeks in 71. It was from March 27th to April 10th. We'll go to #1 on the R&B charts as well. It spent 3 weeks there. I had the amazing opportunity to talk through the song with the last remaining member of the Temptations, one of the greats out there, founding member Otis Williams, just a legend, and you're going to love this story. It was a bittersweet time in the Temps' career as the group overcame hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. They'd parted ways with frequent lead singer David Ruffin just a few years earlier than that, and they would part ways with their other frequent lead voice, Eddie Kendricks, after Just My Imagination, after this recording due to similar reasons. It would also be Paul Williams' last song, as he was forced to step away due to his failing health. It was always about the group, and that's why the Temptations lasted 60 years. I'm going to let Otis tell you the rest of the story straight from the man himself. As well, we're going to talk about the Temptations, their new album, celebrating 60 years in music. We're also going to talk to current lead singer Ron Tyson, who's been with them since the early 80s. All coming up on Professor of Rock, one of our best episodes in a long time. As we go into this interview, I do want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear. You can always use sunglasses. We're in the middle of summer. You got to go to Zenni.com so you can design your own. You can do prescription frames. You can see how you look before you buy with Zenni's mirror feature. You can do it all for less than the price of a vinyl record. Great time to do it here as inflation continues to rise. Go to Zenni.com today. You'll love it. Just My Imagination, one of the most beautiful songs. Yeah. It's actually my favorite Temptation song. Just my imagination. Swan song for Eddie Kendricks and Paul Williams. So sad. Yeah. Eddie was, of course, on his way out of the group, and Paul was ill. Yeah. Tell me about that dynamic in recording Just My Imagination.
Norman, as always, like I said, him and I were boys, from Come On days when we were with Johnny May Matthews. So he would always, most cases, come by my house. Hey, man, I want you to hear this. So he would play the track. And now when he brought Just My Imagination by, it was naked and unashamed. It didn't have no voices, definitely didn't have any strings on it. He just played. I said, oh, okay. So I listened at it and I said, oh, it's KISS. KISS means keep it simple, stupid. We had to go in, and Norman always liked to go in the studio like 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. So he was late, and I was getting ready to say, hey, let's go, because he's not here. And he called us, says, I say, hey, man, you know, we've been here for about 45 minutes an hour. I know, man, I'm sorry. You know, he loves to gamble. So anyway, we went in, and he showed us how the melody and how he wanted to go. And he said it was fair. So we started putting the background down by like 10, 11 o'clock. So once we finished putting the background down, we left Eddie Kendricks there, you know. And the next morning, I said, let me call and see how Ed made out. 8 o'clock, the next morning when I called Eddie, he said, man, I'm just not getting home. I said, wait a minute. We left you at the studio at 11 or something last night. He said, at Norman Whitfield, and he used some expletives, you know, on about Norman. But Norman, when he put the great Jerry Long, who did the strings. So Norman came by my house and he said, listen at this. And when it started off and I could hear those sweeping strings, you know, the way he had them going, and I said, oh, damn, Norman, this is a whole nother masterpiece. It was just my imagination. Man, I was blown away. And we would do it. The fans loved it. That was the last song it did with us.
And you didn't know it at the time.
No.
But he left to go solo, his plan to go solo. Some of you were aware of that. That song, it's just such a beautiful, that's a headphone song. You put the headphones on and you listen to that song, and it's magic.
Yeah.
It just takes you to a whole nother world.
It does.
Stay through my window, I watch her as she passes.
There's just not many songs that have the power that Just My Imagination has.
And you know, when you listen at it, it's so simple, simplistic. And nothing complicated, just beautiful melody with the harmonies and the arrangements. I haven't seen Jerry Long in a long time. I wanted to tell him, man, you did a hell of a job on the string arrangement of Just My Imagination.
Barrett Strong had said that he came up with the lyrics to the song like in the late 60s, and it kind of sat there for a little bit, but when he showed it to Norman, I read in an interview that he said he had no inclination to slow it down. It was faster.
The track that he brought, it was slow.
I think when he wrote the lyrics, though, he was saying that it was faster, and Norman wanted to slow it down, and I think that was the right move.
It was. That's one of the songs we did not take out of the lineup of the Temps.
Have a girl like her is truly a dream.
And the backing tracks laid down with Eddie Willis on guitar and Bob Babbitt on bass. So I heard a lot of people think it was James Jamerson who played the bass on that.
No, it wasn't James. And it was Bob, like you said, and he had Maurice, I think his name was Maurice Davis. Norman told me, he said he had got this new instrument about echo. You know, so he was playing with it, and Maurice was getting ready to leave the studio. He said, Maurice, hold up, man, come back here. I want to test this out. And Maurice turned around and he went in there and started playing. Dun, 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 dun. And it became such a unique form for that song that it's a mainstay. And when I knew that Just My Imagination was a big hit record, back during those days, they would have what they called a disc jockey convention. You know, all the noted recording companies would meet in whatever city, and they played their new material for coming out later on. Every major recording company I went to playing Just My Imagination. Warner Brothers, CBS, Polydor, and I came back to Motown, so I said, I don't understand that. You would think they'd be playing their own stuff. They were playing Just My Imagination.
Because it was a pocket symphony. Jack Ashford on marimba, Jack Brokenshaw on timpani, and Andrew Smith on drums. I read a really poignant moment that happened during this recording. The five of you were adding your vocals, and that Paul sings a certain line that just brought you to tears.
Every night on my knees, I pray.
Every night on my knees I pray.
Very touching, to know that Paul's health was doing what it was doing to him. And, because it had got to the point when we would do our choreography, he would kind of wobble. So I would grab him, keep him steady while we would do whatever we had to do. We went home, and we still lived in Detroit, and Don Foster, our then road manager, took Paul to the doctor. And I'm at the house, and Don Foster called me. He said, well, Paul can't go back out on the road anymore. I said, really, why? He said, his respiratory system was shut down.
But it was just my imagination.
You said in your book that he was the real soul of the group, and to know that illness was going to take him away, it was a great moment where he was able to sing that line. And now when we hear that recording and having the knowledge of that, and that line meant so much to you guys.
I can go on even better than that. We were at the Copacabana, and Adam Clayton Powell was in the audience. And we were singing For Once in My Life.
For once in my life, I have some.
And when Paul would sing, he would emit so much feeling and things that Adam Clayton Powell was sitting there, and he started crying. And Adam Clayton Powell stood up and started applauding. Everybody in the Copacabana stood up and gave Paul more so than the rest of us, because we were just doing the harmonies. But the way Paul would sing, he'd tap on your heartstring. When I saw Adam Clayton Powell stood there and he was crying, greatness of Paul Williams.
Every night on my knees I pray.
Well, the strings and the harp, and like you said, the Detroit Symphony coming in and playing, the symphony orchestra coming and playing on that song. I just love how in your book you said when you heard everything all put together, the finished track, that you guys were just like blown away.
Yeah.
Just my imagination once again.
I wanted to point out too that with Jerry Long, who scored movies, right? Who worked on that and brought kind of the magic of those dreamy parts out in that track. And
oh, well, he did a hell of a job on Just My Imagination.
Just My Imagination went number 1 pop in R&B, and it went number 8 in the UK. Again, Eddie left the group. In fact, when you guys performed on the Ed Sullivan Show, I know that Eddie's over here and you guys are kind of over here, and it was almost like a symbolic of where things were at.
If you saw that of us sitting on the thing, you could. And when I see it from time to time, I say, I don't know if the world knows it, but you're looking at 5 unhappy guys.
Well, on the covers, Rolling Stones, Rose Royce, Bette Midler, Larry Carlton. This is another song that's been covered so much, but nobody will ever touch the Temps version. I mean, again, it's just one of those songs from the 70s that I remember the first time I heard it as a little boy, and it just took me away.
Yeah.
And my dad said, "This is real music,"
Yeah.
And I knew it.
It's truly a dream come true.
Yeah, I mean, when I listen to the lyrics, each day in my window, I want you, it's very simplistic. You're looking at it when you see a girl every day, but to write it in such a form where everybody could understand it and relate to it, and then add those, aside from the harmonies that we would put, those big sweeping string lines, and it gave it like a movie kind of thing. When I listen, that's magic, So,
it is.
Yeah.
And it's strings and the arrangement and the dreamy parts and all that, but it really is the voices, all the 5 of your voices that bring that to that crescendo,
Absolutely.
that peak.
And I'll tell you the part that made us say we need to leave Norman, and Norman was my boy. We had recorded this album called Masterpiece. And we were over in Amsterdam, and Motown sent us the rundown of the album. So I listened at it, and I'm saying, wait. Norman had all this music at the beginning. When we came in, we only had about that much vocal, and everything else was, music. And when it said Norman Whitfield and his the Norman Whitfield Singers. When we got back to Detroit, Detroit. L.A., because we had moved to L.A. And I called Barry. I said, Barry, we need another producer. I said, because we didn't work all these years to be referred to as the Norman Whitfield Singers. And Barry even agreed. He said, yeah, no. And we had a great run with Norman, so it was at the end of it. So and he said, yeah, no, we should try somebody else. And that's when we started working on one of our better albums, A Song for You.
Let's talk about the new album, celebrating 60 years, Temptation 60. Is it going to be Yes or No with Smokey?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great song.
Ooh, baby.
Tell me about how that one came together.
Well, when I asked Smokey, he had to do a song and write it. I said, not only do you have to write it, you got to sing on it. Yeah. Now, I hadn't heard nothing. Who gonna question what Smokey write? So one day he came here, as we would do, and I heard him right in this here room. He was giving us each part of what we had to do. And only thing I had to call him, I said, hey, Smoke, you gonna have some strings to it? No oak. It's gonna be just like that. Because I always hear with some sweet string lines, setting up a very romantic. Nope, Smokey said, no, it's gonna be just like that, bare boned it. You guys sing it.
Is it gonna be yes or no?
And the women love it, because when we sing it, they be oohing and ahhing. Yeah. When he come in with that tenor, you can hear him talking about, I want to see him after the show.
Yeah. Oh man, I thought just the fact that Smokey was writing the song, whatever he wrote, was going to be good to me.
Yeah, right.
So and for us to perform it too. So yeah, it was a great song. Then being right in this room with him, putting it together, and it just smile on my face the whole day,
Yes or no, baby, baby, baby.
Beautiful song.
Yeah,
for
he's a great writer, man.
Yeah.
And this album, it also speaks to what is going on right now. It celebrates the past and what the Temptations have meant, but you also speak to what's going on in the world.
Yes.
And I like that.
Wow.
Time for the people.
That's right. Right. Exactly. In fact, let's talk about Time for the People. It's a track that we need now more than ever. And that's what I love about this song, is just talking about the people, we the people, time for the people. Tell me about how that song came about.
Well, it's Ron and our conductor, they wrote it. It's in keeping with the Temps have been known to do throughout our history.
Right. Like Ball of Confusion in the 70s.
So Tyson came up with it, him and
TC
and,
Thomas Cameron.
Thomas Cameron. And, it's a great song to have, because it ain't all about love as far as ballads concerned. You got to write about actuality.
I just told TC, hey, man, I got a melody, got an idea, and we just put them together, and that's what we came up with. It's time for the people to stand up for their rights,
Music is more powerful than politicians.
Absolutely.
The message of music can be very healing and unify, right? The great uniter.
Yeah.
Sometimes that has to be our way of vocalizing what we feel. It has to come through music sometimes to get people's attention.
Well, that had to be on the album, because the Temps have always had a controversial kind of song. I knew it was one of those things that we should always have an awareness about what's happening with us, and him and TC did a great job in doing that.
Hey, thanks for watching. Leave us a comment about the Temptations' classic Motown hit, Just My Imagination, Running Away With Me. What are your memories of this song? You can also get the Temptations' new album, 60, by clicking on the link below. You're going to want to do that. It's a great album. If you like our content, we invite you to subscribe below, and don't forget to check out our new merch and our Patreon. Until next time, 3 chords.